new sheepskin covers. My butt is so wet, so if I'm moving funny, don't think about it. Sorry about that visual. It just came out. I'll hear about it from Callie later, for sure. Anyway. Yeah, well, it is a lot of fun to start off the Sunday morning with you. The last Sunday of the month, we're calling our Sacred Sunday. It is the Sunday where we don't do announcements. We pray a little longer. We hold the silence a little bit longer. The music is a little bit subtler, and it is just a very, it is a quiet time. And so to take us to that deeper place in consciousness, I just want to honor our wonderful light bearer. We have Bob holding the light today, and when we talk about holding the light, what this practitioner's responsibility is to sit in our prayer corner. And our prayer corner is where you can fill out prayer requests and you can put in into the prayer chest. I just want to remind you, prayers are prayed on every day by over 50 spiritual practitioners. They're back there after the service to do prayer with you. Today is our prayer Sunday, so we're going to do the wall of prayer. That's part of the Sacred Sunday. They're available to you after service for personal prayer up front. But the person back there in that corner, they hold the light, meaning that they're not there to get anything and receive the message. They are there to be a spiritual conduit for spirit to flow, for the light to flow. For me, when my brain goes blank, to look at them and to get that spiritual hit and just to be fed. So if you see somebody in that corner every Sunday looking like they're sleeping, I want you to know they are in a very blissful, lucky place. So let's see here. I want to just invite you to stand and greet the person that is next to you. Love them up, say hello, shake their hand, look in their eye, go as far as you feel comfortable. And please remain standing for a congregational song.
We let love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be.
Let the rain, let the rain.
We let the rain wash over us. We let it be.
We let the rain. Come on now.
We let the rain wash over us. We let it be.
The joy.
We let the joy wash over us. We let it be.
All right, Bobby. All right, we let the peace.
We let the peace wash over us. We let it be.
We let some peace, man.
We let the peace wash over us. We let it be.
The grace.
We let the grace wash over us. We let it be.
The love.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
Morning.
I'm Reverend Kathy Hearn. It's a great joy to welcome all of you here today. And I want to introduce our practitioner, Nancy Washwell, for a beautiful invocation. You can acknowledge her.
So I invite all of you to gently close your eyes as we move into the stillness. I know that God is all that there is. I know that God fills the hearts of each and every one here, filling us and overflowing with that love presence of spirit that shines so bright through and as each one here. And I know that Dr. Christian's message is infused with that goodness and that love of God, for he is that conduit through which God speaks. I know that each and every one is brought to a higher level of consciousness, along with the enhancement of the beautiful music, and all that takes place to put this service together is synchronized in perfection and harmony, because God is all that there is, and so it is.
We are part of something greater, part of something greater any one of us could ever be. Part of something greater, something so much greater than any one of us could ever be. We are all joined together in our hearts, in our minds, and in our souls. We are part of something greater, something so much greater than any one of us could ever be. We are all joined together in our hearts, in our minds, and in our souls. We are part of something greater, something so much greater than any one of us could ever be.
Thank you, Reverend Fran. May we take a moment to show Reverend Fran how much we love her? So, good morning again, and I wanted to make a special welcome to any of you who are here for the first time. Please know how welcomed and wanted you are, and we have a guest packet available for you by the doors out there. And I want to invite you to look around at the tables and see all of the offerings here at Seaside, because Seaside is a beautiful banquet that is filled with things to nourish you, to support you with spiritual community, and also to help you along your path of spiritual awakening. I'm one of the staff ministers here at Seaside. I have the role of being the dean of the School of Spiritual Leadership. And if you've ever thought about walking the path of spiritual service, I would love to talk to you about that. I will convince you that that is a really good idea. So, so please come see me. I'd love to talk to you about it. So Dr. Christian is doing a series on folklore, stories that we know and love, often from childhood, and that have been in our collective consciousness and culture for a long time. And the story today is the talk today is based on the story of the Ugly Duckling, which you might remember from childhood. I certainly do. And it's a story that is about exile and belonging. And so if you have ever been the odd one out wherever you were, if you thought you ended up in the wrong family, if you're always the weird one at work, that was me, this is a story for you. And here's a reading. If you have attempted to fit whatever mold and failed to do so, you are probably lucky. You may be in exile of some sort, but you have sheltered your soul. There is an odd phenomenon that happens when one keeps trying to fit and fails. Even though the outcast is driven away, she is at the same time driven right into the arms of her psychic and true kin, whether these be a course of study, an art form, or a group of people. It is worse to stay where one does not belong at all than to wander about lost for a while and looking for the psychic and soulful kinship one requires. It is never a mistake to search for what one requires, never. There is an aspect of alchemy wherein the base substance of lead is pounded about and beaten down. While exile is not a thing to desire for the fun of it, there is an unexpected gain from it. The gifts of exile are many. It takes out weakness by the pounding. It removes whininess, enables acute insight, heightens intuition, grants the power of keen observation and perspective that the insider can never achieve. And even though there are negative aspects to it, the wild psyche can endure exile. It makes us yearn that much more to free our own true nature and causes us to long for a culture that goes with it. Even this yearning, this longing, makes a person go on. It makes us go on looking. And if we cannot find the culture that encourages us, then usually we decide to construct it ourselves. And that is good. For if we build it, others who have been looking for a long time will mysteriously arrive one day enthusiastically proclaiming that they have been looking for this all along. And so I invite you to turn within. And so just taking a nice deep breath and letting it go. Just breathing into this beautiful day and this blessing of rain. I am knowing that we're centered here in the presence, that we're here by the power of this one life that is God, that is so very good. I claim and know this good life of God is my life, and as I know this for myself, I know this for each one of us here and for all beings everywhere. And so it is in this consciousness today that I lean into the consciousness already prepared by Nancy in her beautiful invocation. And I know and accept that we are finding that to which we belong. That no matter what our experiences of exile have been or not quite fitting in, the truth is we belong to life. And that each one here has been so wanted by life itself that he or she has been spoken into being by the very presence and power of God. Each one here is a prayer that God is praying, that there might be a greater expression of love and light and joy on earth. And so I accept today that our minds are open, that our hearts are lifted, that our bodies are available to the information that comes to us that seeks to lift us and guide us and send us on our path in the direction of the deepest truth of who and what we are and our most perfect place of belonging. And so I simply give thanks for all the good of this day. And I release this word, and I know it is done. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. And here is Reverend Fran.
Thank you, Dr. Kathy. Hello, and look who's joining me on the stage is Mr. Paul Cannon. Listen, I was researching, I have to tell you how Paul Cannon came here. I was researching another group that somebody told me to find out, and I was looking at the group, and I was going, nah, I love you, everyone, and I liked what they did, and then I heard this young man sing. You know how the YouTubes will go, if you may be interested in this other person as well, and I'm looking, oh yeah. That looks pretty cool. That guy looks pretty cool. He's wearing his little dread thing. And I'm thinking, and he's got a cello player with him. And I said, listen, but then he started to sing, and I went, uh-huh. So we chatted, and he said he'd been here before in other events on peace and nonviolence. I said, you're going to fit right in. You're going to fit right in. So we had a date available, and now we have Mr. Paul Cannon with us this morning. Would you please give him a warm welcome?
Hey, everyone. You know, I'm a firm believer in being okay with going through stuff and feeling things, with getting stuck, falling in a rut, getting complacent. I'm not okay with staying there, but I'm okay with accepting that it happens. And I think it's, that's the first step of overcoming it, is acknowledging that we have these feelings, that we have these things that we go through. And this song's about that. It's about feeling that, but then finding a way out, keeping peace, finding light from others, or becoming light, and finding it inside yourselves. And just staying positive that you will find it, or it will come your way. This song's called Keep Peace, Be Light. Stay positive.
It's like waiting for the bus, but you ain't got no pass. You're the first one to speak, but you're the last one to laugh. You should go back there and you pull out a map. Everybody's talking, but nobody knows where we're at. The walls are closing in, and waves keep crashing. When the walls are closing in, waves are crashing, you need something to give. Keep peace, be light, and stay positive. Well, teacher, keep on teaching, son, you ain't doing that right. Preacher, keep on preaching, you should be terrified. But I keep on believing in my love and my light. We're all here for a reason, so let's spread the love tonight. And the walls are closing in. Waves keep crashing on in. And the walls closing in. Waves keep crashing. You need something to give. Keep pace, be light. Keep pace, be light. Keep peace, be loud, and stay positive. And just go right ahead. be lying, to keep pace, be loud and stay positive.
That is Paul Cannon finding his way to the Seaside stage. Nice job, Paul. All right, so here we are. We are in the midst of folklore Seaside style. And today we're talking about one of the classics, Hans Christian Andersen's The Ugly Duckling. And so it starts off on a fall afternoon where the men are out plowing the field, and the women are making dolls with the corn husks, and the boys are throwing hay, and the girls are embroidering their outfits, and the wind is blowing, loosening the leaves a little bit more each day, and the ducks down by the river, this one is sitting on her brood, and they start to rumble. And the eggs in her nest start to move, and she jumps off, and she crackles and cackles, and one egg bursts open, the next egg, and before you know it, she has her own little covey of little duck chicklets. And they're all looking beautiful and perfect little ducklings, and there is this one big, enormous egg. She's not sure what that is all about. And an older duck comes along and says, oh, it's probably a turkey egg. Leave it alone. Turkeys can't swim. It's not good. Anything out of there is going to be trouble. And in that moment, the egg starts rumbling. It starts shaking, and out pops this ugly-looking bird. And she just can't believe that came from her. It's like, no way. And her other little ducklings are just so beautiful, swimming along in the water, and this big ugly thing jumps in. And I got to tell you, this big bird can swim. This dude can swim. He's got the swim thing down, but he is ugly. And people are now talking about how ugly this big bird duck is. And some call him the ugly duckling. And they're saying to the mom, you got to do something about your kid. You got to keep him out of the public view. He's a disgrace. And the queen duck of the whole pen or the area says, you got to get rid of that ugly duckling. That thing just doesn't belong here. And all of a sudden, the other like roosters and the ducks, they start pecking on this little bird, and this ugly duckling is just being abused physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, really getting messed up. Counseling later is definitely in order. And finally, mom has had all that she can take, and she finally calls her son, says, son, you got to go. You can't stay. And he gets kicked out of the community. He gets ostracized for being different. Now, I got to tell you what, it's not that he was bad, it's just that he wasn't a match. And sometimes in life, we find ourselves in an environment where it is not a match. It's a lot of what prejudice is about within our time. It's not as if, the right-handed people are better than the left-handed, or the left-handed are better than right-handed, but our society is definitely right-handed, and they get the right-handed blessings where the left-handed folks have to, there's some adjustments they have to make. And now it's not one is better, it's just different. And sometimes in our lives where we find ourselves, it's not a match, and it's not bad, it is different, and yet we find ourselves like exiled because we don't fit in there. We just wrapped up our diversity class, and we took a look at the differences that are there, and to recognize that it is about embracing the differences and not making somebody conform to what it is your perspective. But this little ugly duckling didn't fit, and so out he went onto the streets, and this poor guy is now out there wandering, trying to figure out where he's going to go. And the mom just didn't have the mothering skills to deal with a community at this point. I mean, I got to tell you, when they start coming down on you, what are you going to do about that? Because your kid is different. It's not a match here. I got to tell you, when I first went into the ministry, at 22, I didn't look like the old father figure a minister is supposed to look like. And then I began to express myself with a little bit more exuberance than some of those old father figures looked like. And there were a lot of individuals that tried to tell me how I could improve by quieting down a lot. And I got to tell you, I tried to notch it down quite a bit, and it didn't feel right inside of me. And what I had to come to discover on myself, this is me. This is who I am. And if you can't relate, then this isn't for you. But I have got to learn to be true to who I am. But what happens sometimes is those individuals who are put upon like that, or the parent that is told to take care of that kid, they're pretty ugly, take them for a makeover or something, get them more intelligence, well behaved all of a sudden, to be able to fit into the norm, to fit the pattern, to be the match. They begin to bring their child back in a little bit. Say, you know what? You've got to hold back. This expression of yourself just, isn't really being accepted. It's for your well-being. It's for my well-being. And what happens a lot of times for the young children who have their natural, unbridled self-expression, they have this instinctive eccentricness that is their possibility of their expression here in life that can become the foundation for them to grow on, to develop, to hone, to give this world. All of a sudden are like captured and told to be quiet and to behave and sculpted and domesticated, so now you can fit in like the other ducks here. And if you don't, you're just an ugly duckling. And if we can't control you through this kind of manipulation, this abuse, out, exile, get out of here. We're not comfortable around you. Got that? We're not comfortable around you. I don't care how you feel. I don't feel good inside because I'm near you. So that exile comes and getting kicked out happens. And so the moms who begin to be concerned about what other people are saying. The families that begin to concern themselves with what is being said behind their backs, what's being written, the suspicion, the gossip. All of a sudden, something begins to rise up inside, and do I need to protect myself here? Do I protect my child? I have a concern for my child, but I have my unconditional love. I want my child to be everything, but the child, the unsanctioned child that begins to express themselves. I'll tell you, moms and parents have taken the heat over the years as they've unsanctioned child expresses their art and their music and their politics and their self-expression, and the abuse that comes towards them. It can be abusive to the point where we read stories of parents that have been put to, moms that have been burned because of a child's behavior. All of a sudden, stories begin to come in and they can collapse under the pressure of what's going there. Classic story of collapsing is like when there's this emotional division inside where, what do I do? William Styron's Sophie's Choice. And there is a story where Sophie has her two children. And the commander says, Sophie, you must decide which child is going to live and which one will die. And if you don't decide, we'll kill them both. That will crush. That will split one person. But that kind of behavior isn't gone. We're watching kids be sent up to our border from a collapsing culture. When you begin to treat children and let them go, and no matter there's something wrong with the norm, there's something wrong with the collective culture to think that you can send a child unwatched over saying you've got to fend for yourself because you don't fit in here. They're all our children. I'm not pointing fingers either. Our culture, our slavery in the 18th and 19th and 20th century, we would split families, send the kids downriver and the moms upriver. Kids are taken from their family today by the nation for the sake of war. I'm supposed to be glad about that. There's something inside of us that says, this norm doesn't feel right anymore. You can call me ugly, but I'm willing to fit in. And when you do that, the norm will kick you out. You're an ugly duckling. You don't fit here. It doesn't work anymore for you to speak up. And so as the and I also want to admit, there's no story in this, no male figure in this story. There's an absent father here. So if the mom's getting a hard rap on this, the dad was not around. It was an unavailable father. So the mom gets picked on here. But I got to tell you what, throughout time, there's always been women's circles to pick up in that point of questioning. Seaside is blessed. Callie guides a wonderful women's circle here at Seaside. And they've got the oneness blessing coming next week, where it's just unconditional love of the women coming together and supporting each other. That is what has been there from the beginning of time, is that the women who are unprepared are supported by the matriarch. But the one in this clan, in this community, this queen duck said, get rid of them. What happens but the collapsing mother experience? There are those goddesses out there that have that wisdom to share. Those mothers that are strong. I was blessed. I had a mom who saw, and she had ears that could hear and a tongue that spoke. And boy, she told me the way it was. But what I also noticed is she was not my only mom. I had my godmother, Jerry, who loved me unconditionally. I had my Aunt Judy, who helped raise me. I had our neighborhood nurse, Mrs. Hoffman. And I had 4 moms, and their kids and their families are my brothers and sisters to this day. We all were raised together and roamed the hood without concern of being out after dark. There was a collective kind of experience, and I believe that helps bring a strength when you are called into question, when should I throw my kid out? Well, it's not time for tough love when this chick is 2 days old. What are you doing kicking him out? He let this ugly duckling develop its wings, but out he goes, and he's wandering. It's in the fall, it's getting colder, and he comes upon the pond, and he finds a couple of ganders, which are guy geese. And not that there's anything wrong with gay geese. No. But it's like they were his first friends. They accepted him for who he was. Now, it may be in the wrong crowd, because they're saying, you know what, there's this gaggle of geeses, female, single, at the next pond. And hey, we're going to go on over there. I mean, you are ugly, but, maybe it could work for you. Why don't you come with us? And he's like, yeah, let's go. And then, bam, a shot. And one of the geese just drops right in front of him. And bam, another shot. And a hunter shoots the next goose, and it falls right next to him. And our little ugly duckling, oh my God, what's going on? The dogs start barking. This guy just runs and buries himself in the reeds and just towers and lets this pass by him. Now, if he wasn't screwed up before by his mother issues, could you imagine watching your 2 best friends shot? He's messed up, this poor guy. And now it's raining, it's cold, and he just wanders into this farm, this barn, and his guy's never known the right place where there was love, where he was accepted. And he's going to go knock on wrong doors because he doesn't know what the right door looks like. He's going to hang out with the wrong crowd because he doesn't know what the right crowd is. He has been exiled from the only thing that he ever knew, which was his home, which was his family, which was his clan. He got exiled for nothing that he did. He just got kicked out, and he is out there trying to find where it is that he belongs and he feels right. And he is wandering out there into this barn, and it's an old lady on a porch. There is this cross-eyed hen, this uncombed cat, and in comes this wandering ugly duckling. It's like, could be a perfect match, other than the cat looks at this guy and says, what are you doing here? I catch mice for my living. What can you do? And the hen says, I lay eggs. What can you do? And the old lady says, he can lay eggs, obviously blind. It's a guy duck. Give me a break, But, it's like sometimes the match isn't there, but you wander into an environment that you think could work, but it's just not right. And they say, so what can you? He said, well, I love to, go under the blue sky, under the cool water. Cat says, I don't like water. Water and I, we don't do that. And the hen, thinking of getting my feathers wet, that's, you just don't belong here. You have wandered into the wrong place. And he just, he leaves before they kill him. The old lady kills him for dinner. And he's out there wandering in the cold. And he sees these beautiful 3 white big birds flying through the sky heading south. And they holler out, and he just feel this urge. He can't quite fly to those heights yet. And he figures he probably would not be welcome there because they are so beautiful and he is so ugly. The tapes that start playing at an early level, a time in our life. He's trying to express himself and he got hushed. I mean, do you remember being hushed in your life by some authority figure so you could be acceptable? How about in relationship? Have you ever found yourself in a relationship behaving like you really aren't just so you could be acceptable? Have you ever found hushing your spirituality in an environment because, bringing spirituality into this conversation, they're going to think you're weird? Well, I'll tell you what, it's not your match because bringing spirituality into everything you do is the right thing. That is who you are, a living, walking expression of that emanating divine light. Don't hide that under a bushel. If you get exiled because you are choosing to love and to ask questions beyond the normal conversations, Dr. Kathy told you that is a good thing. They liked what you said. So anyway, he's out there. He sees those birds fly over. His soul calls to him, but there's nothing he can do, and he wanders around and wanders into a pond. It's getting colder. Things are freezing over. You got to keep swimming in circles so you don't get frozen into this pond, because the last thing you want to do is get frozen. When you're frozen, nothing's moving, right? When you talk about people who aren't very warm, you say they're as cold as ice, right? They're like, they're frigid, man. Stay away from them. There's nothing fun about them. I could go on with all the cold analogies. Well, he finally gets frozen and stuck in the ice. And I got to tell you, when things are getting cold, it's difficult. You've been exiled and you don't know. You've got to keep moving. That is one of the things about this story, is this ugly duckling kept moving. He kept searching. In your creative expression, if you feel yourself starting to freeze up, you've got to keep moving. I tell you, as writing, and the chapter is getting tough to write, I still every morning got myself up at 4 o'clock and sat in front of that computer, and whether I just got a few words or a few lines or a paragraph down, you just got to keep moving so you don't totally freeze up. The artist has got to get the paintbrush in their hand and get something on that canvas. The dancer has to lace up their shoes. They got to get out there. You've got to keep moving or you will get frozen. That is not a good analogy in this moment. Being frozen. You got it? Okay, have you ever been frozen up in your life? Good. You don't really have to fess up. I just posing questions for you to internalize what I'm saying, so I'm not just talking to myself. So there he is. He's stuck frozen in the ice. He didn't keep moving. A couple mallard ducks kind of landed on the ice. You've seen how they kind of slide across the ice and they land, boom, right into this ugly duckling. They look at him and say, "Man, you're ugly." And they kind of fly off. Just some reinforcement, negative reinforcement for this poor guy. And he's just going. And there's a farmer that comes around, and they find him. And this farmer finds him frozen in the ice, and he breaks him out of the ice, which is a key. You've got to break free of where you have been fixated, frozen, stuck. And sometimes somebody comes along who's not necessarily part of your life's plan, who's not necessarily your soulmate, but they come along sometimes and they drop a word or an idea that frees you from where it is. They come along and all of a sudden you have fallen in love with this person for a moment. This philosopher, this doctor, this somebody who's, wow, this authority that helped me out of this situation. And you want to follow them. He takes this ugly duckling home. It's like, I found home. And he came in, he brought them into this warm house in the middle of winter, and they just got ill-behaved kids. They try to grab this ugly duck, and this ugly duck doesn't know what's going on. He's running, he's flapping his wings, he tries to get away. He goes up on the rafters. You ever seen on top of the rafters how much dust is on top of the rafters? Not ours, of course, but under most situations, how much dust is up there, and he's flapping his wings, and the dust is going in the butter, and they're yelling at him, and he falls into the milk pitcher, and then rolls into the flower basket, and the mom is chasing him around with the broom. This poor little ugly duckling, he just made for the cat door and was gone. And he was roaming the story from farm to pond through the cold of the winter, again colder and hardly moving. But the important point of the story is that he kept on keeping on. That's what it says to us. Hold on, because the spring did come. And when the spring came, this little ugly duckling stretched his wings, which he had never really had before, and they stretched, and they were magnificent, and they were wonderful. There was something inside of him. See, that's the thing. When you are, you don't know, you're searching, you're looking, you don't know what is the right door. You're trying to catch it. You ever seen those National Geographic where the wolves are trying to find the scent? Clarissa Pinkola Estes, in her books, The Women Who Run with Wolves, tells the story how the wolves will jump up in the air looking to catch that scent, trying to find that. You've seen those, and they put their head into the snow looking for what's down there, that rabbit, or they take their nose and they use it as a plow on the ground, or they go digging looking for that scent, or they run way off to the forward looking for it, they run way back, or they just stop, or their ears go up, and they're like these satellite dishes they're looking for that scent, and then nothing happens. And then boom, off they go. Seen that? 3 of you. Good. Okay. It's like that for ourselves. You've got to keep looking and searching because you're going to catch that vision. You're going to remember. There's something that's going to click inside of you that, as crazy and as silly as you look, jumping in the air, digging through the ground, searching, going forward, going back, where there is your soul that is aching, that has been exiled from where you thought you were supposed to be, but you knew it wasn't right. You would never have left, but you were kicked out and you are looking. You're in the cold. You've been frozen. Your best friends have been shot. You have been ridiculed, insulted, made captive, been trying to domesticate it, all these things, and you never has been right, has always been painful, but you have kept on, keeping on, looking for your pack, looking for your community. When he is flying with his new stretched wings, he sees those 3 white, magnificent swans sitting in the water, and he thinks, well, I wonder. He catches that scent. And he descends, glides into that pond, and he starts thinking, oh no, are they going to just fool me, like they like me, come over, laugh at me, and leave, like people have always done to me? Are they going to hate me? Are they going to think how ugly I am? All these tapes that we got from this journey of survival, from this journey of exploration, all these old limiting patterns that keep coming to mind are coming through his head. When he sees these 3 most magnificent, beautiful creatures, and he decides, if they're coming over here towards me, I'm going to go towards them, and they're probably going to bite me and kill me, but I would rather be killed by something beautiful like this than shot by hunters or frozen to death or killed by a farmer's wife's broom. And so he bows his head, and as he does, he sees his reflection. And what he sees is a beautiful white swan, just like the 3 that are coming to him. And he realizes that is who he is. I mean, there's some old patterns coming up. I mean, will they really love me after they know me? Those kind of things. But that gets worked out in swan therapy later on. There is that inside of him that awakens and remembers those birds that he saw flying through the sky. There was something that in that moment when that veil parted, he did not know what that event had meant, but it registered something in his soul of the sound and the magnificence and the sight of those birds, that in this moment there was something in his cellular DNA level that knew that this was right and it was meant to be, and they came over and they twirled up their necks and they preened and cleaned each other. And he found his pack. He kept on keeping on. You got to hold on and hold on through the coldest and toughest of times, for there's something inside of you and your soul and your spirit, as surprising can go, with very little and sometimes no nourishment. But you got to keep moving. You got to keep believing the greater aspect of your being and not what the prejudices of the norm is telling you is the right thing. You've got to learn to listen to that urge that is inside your spirit that wants to soar, that knows how to soar, but may not be soaring in this moment. And if you get kicked out and you get exiled, you've got to know there is that perfect place for you, your pack, your clan, your tribe, those that love you for who you are. And who you are is more than just surviving. One of the challenges is somebody gets to this point and what we hear is their survival story, which is a good one. This duck can tell a story, let me tell you. But you've got to be more than your survival story. How many people are telling their survival story years later? This is who I am. Life is more than surviving. You've got to survive, then you got to heal, and then you are meant to thrive in this world. It is not just about making it. And people will talk their survival as if this is the centerpiece of their life. I am going to survive. By God, I can make it no matter what this world throws at me. I am tough. And tough as beef jerky. It's like, come on, your life's a little more tender than beef jerky here. And survival is like a badge, but we're intended to have many badges and medals of good times, of glorious times, of tough times, of survival times. We should be dripping with life experiences, so we have so much more to bring to the table and to bring to life. And so you can bring forth your character and who you are for this world. Because who you are, there is that perfect place for you and your gifts and your talents and your unique expressions and your idiosyncrasies and your eccentric expressions. And people who don't love you for who you are just may not be your pack. It may be the wrong house. And when you haven't known what the right door is, it's sometimes difficult to find the right one. But keep knocking and keep knocking and keep knocking. And you'll find a perfect place for your gifts and your talents. And I got to tell you, I am so grateful that you have found a perfect community and tribe that is known as Seaside, because I love you for who you are with all your idiosyncrasies, your eccentric expressions, and the gifts you are to me and Seaside. God bless you. Hey, let's keep going as we bring Paul back to the stage.
Everybody's working for the weekend, working really hard just so they get sleeping. But baby, all they need is love. Waiting on a paycheck, struggling to make it, living life in debt, 'cause money didn't spend. But baby, all they needed was love. If we can only see love is what we're missing. Love is when we listen. Love is all we need. Well, love is unexpected. Love can lift the wreckage, and love is all we need. Love is all we need. I was holding out in Vegas, wherever this takes us, giving into dreams that could make me famous. But all I needed was love. I used to dance with the priest, sing with the sinners, how the time with days without dinner. But all I needed was love. if we can only see that love is when we're missing, love is when we listen, love is all we need. Love is unexpected, but love can live through wreckage, and love is all we need. We're one, oh, and love, we're blood, sister and brother. We're little to believe in each other. We are one in love. We love is when we're missing, and love is when we listen, and love is all we need. Love is unexpected, but love can live through wreckage, and love is all we need. We're one and another. We're blood, sister and brother. We're little to believe in each other, 'cause we are one. Oh, we are one in love.
That is Paul Cannon. We're one in love. Beautiful. Thank you. What a great spirit. I love that sound of your voice. That is just so unique. I like that. Hey, this is the time of our service where we have the opportunity to unite together in our givingness, the sharing of our tithes and our offerings, an opportunity in this unified moment of sharing our financial support, knowing that it comes from our heart, and yet it supports us doing community in this time and space and Encinitas. Without each of us participating at the level in which we can, this wouldn't be going on. And so you play an integral part of the unfoldment of Seaside. And so I thank you from the fullness of my heart for your gifts and your sharing, your love, and your stretching. And as you stretch, your world continues to stretch. As you give, it comes back to you at the level of your participation. Are you able to give with trepidation, or are you able to give with a great sense of freedom and joy with non-attachment? And as you choose to be that free channel of flow, what you find is all the flow that you could ever need moving through your life and in your world. You cannot outgive God. You cannot outgive life. It is an extension of the activity of spirit as your life at the level of your actions. So I invite you to listen to your heart and be the action of that loving heart. I want to invite our ushers to come forward at this time. Say thank you to this wonderful crew. Thank you to those who mail in your contributions when you can't be here on a Sunday. I'm grateful. And those that remember us or participate with the auto tide, that regular systematic support from your world into Seaside, is greatly appreciated because we have the regular responsibility, so that regular participation helps a great deal. I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that the blessings of the divine flows for this moment in time and space, and knowing that the richness of spirit has its way as our very expression. For we live in this abundant, infinite universe, unlimited expression. Truly, the richness of life itself moves as our very experience here and now, and I'm grateful to participate in this wonderful flow. I know right now that as our individual lives become that affluent flow of spirit, we continue to be greater blessings in the world in which we walk and we live. And so we take that which has blessed our individual life, we send it forth back into this flow, knowing that blessings and joy come to all those that come in contact with the gift that has moved through our life and our consciousness. And so I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to realize the abundance that life is, as each of us. And so it is. Amen. And together, let us say the affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. So I stand before this bounty, this blessing, this love that has been shared, and I know truly that it comes from the heart and the soul of each and every one of us. And this wellspring of expanding good continues to enrich Seaside, and we take this wonderful gift and handle it with good stewardship and send it forth back into life, allowing that love and that joy and the blessings that touched our individual worlds, that touch this community, to continue to touch this world in which we walk. I am grateful to stand as a witness for this inexhaustible source of good that continues to move through our individual lives through this space and time and out into life. I say thank you, thank you, thank you, not to anyone. It's just that state of grace and gratitude that I stand in for this richness of life in which I walk, and so it is. Amen. All right. This is Rick Merica. I want you to know his business is roofing, that he is right on that. For those of you that saw, I've never heard actual waterfalls in the sanctuary, but your board has been all over it. We know that we need to do something before the rainy season. We didn't expect the rainy season to come in July, but it is a significant big project that's coming our way, and your board of trustee member, Rick Merica, has it handled. We'll do something before the end of the year, Rick. Not sure what. We'll figure it out. Anyway, oh gosh, thank you. Band, you're always wonderful. We love you. Love you. That's for sure. Paul, who's standing in the back, love your sound and soulful voice. Reverend Fran, bless you for bringing us the artistic expression to Seaside. Dr. Kathy, always a joy to share Sunday with you. Giving us sound today is Ed. Giving us the visual is Marv. Great job, guys. And know that CDs are available right after the service. Timothy, thank you for giving up Comic-Con so you can be with us this day. And what's exciting about this day is the last Sunday of the month. The last Sunday of the month is our Prayer Wall Sunday. So I'd like to invite any of our religious science practitioners that are present to please come stand up here today, because I'm going to pray. We'll sing ourselves out. And then these individuals are available to you for a personal prayer. And one individual who's been up here for the last several years, Dr. Leo Fishbeck, I went to visit him. He's in recovery right now in rehab, and he just sends his love for sure. And he's right down the street, so he's been standing up here for a long time. So we'll hold him in our hearts for prayers. And I just feel this wonderful life, this love, this beauty that fills this room. The joy and the laughter that Seaside is, that spirit which is one of celebration, and it's in the elation and the jubilation of spirit, there is the depth and the feeling of that profound vibration and frequency of love. For the movement of the divine has its way, and I stand in this wonderful wave of the Spirit, feeling the profound expression that is ineffable, but is real, it is true. And I know right now that is what speaks as me, for Spirit is all things, and so I am that which is expressing right now, which is Spirit made manifest, knowing that if there's anyone who is in this room today that could use any healing going on, any shift above the realm of human conditions, I know that that is the very reality of that is so already within this realm of mind. For that wholeness of the divine has its way, and allow that restoration of wholeness to emerge into that field of awareness that has captivated you into this human dimension. For truly I know right now that as you say yes, yes, and yes more to that spiritual emanation, that you find yourself walking as an expression of that light and that beauty. You find that your words that are spoken are of that spiritual realm. You will find that pack that has the ears to hear and to celebrate that wonderful emanation of light that you are, the divine realization that transforms wherever you are, and that awkwardness of your spiritual pronunciation begins to dissolve into the nothingness from which it came. You have taken that bushel off that light, and you shine, and it is in that shining that anything unlike it falls away. For perfect healing is the natural expression of God, is our very life here and now. For every prayer in our prayer request chest is now answered. I know for sure that this is the truth, for life continues on, even beyond the form. And for a beloved dear friend, Florence Rodrusky, who made her transition this week at 91, that she moves on with those wonderful currents of eternality. For a dear family member of Seaside, Dawn Silvero, who drives here from Hermosa Beach once a month for the last decade or more. I know truly that love, that light, and his hunger for Spirit just allows him to shine brightly and be that Spirit which he always is. And for Dorothy and Keith Russell's dear friend who passed, Adam Tenza, that of course he moves on with those wonderful currents of light and life, and those loved ones left behind can feel the support and they can feel the love that surrounds him. Do you remember Jackie Mayo went into some care this week? Is fine. That her body recoups and comes back into that wonderful emanation of who she is, that wonderful breath of life fills her lungs, that she continues to be that wonderful experience. And for anyone that we know or may be who could use a little shift in that physical experience to a greater sense of well-being and comfort in the physical form, just say yes to that. Say yes to the truth of being. I need not tell Spirit what to do. I just need to be Spirit expressing, and the healing happens. I'm able to live with a sense of fulfillment and success and joy. I'm able to walk this world in service and share that light for which I came. I dropped the ugly duckling syndrome and embraced my swanness, and know that I need not hang around in those spots where I am not seen for the magnificence that I am. For who I am is what each and every one that is here is, a wonderful expression of Spirit made manifest that walks this world. Grateful to be in partnership with the wonderful expression of life. Thankful the words spoken that they are the truth. I let go. I just let go. I need not make any of this happen. I just need to allow that expression of the divine to be that which I am. For that is what I am. So with a sense of gratitude to no one or no thing, just living with appreciation for the wonder of how it all works, I let go. I trust, I believe with an unshakable conviction in the divine right action as my very life, as my very healing, as the emergence of a greater expression of the thriving Seaside in our family, our community, our clan, our tribe, a place that welcomes all without judgment, embraces all, and honors the diverse expression that Seaside is. We continue to shine that light as a beacon for all to know that who they are is God made manifest in their unique form. So I let go, knowing it is blessed times, and so it is. Amen.
time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I did not know the grace of God was sufficient. I did not know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged and trying to make it through just one more day, you gotta let it go, let it all go. And this is what we have to say. Come on! I release, not let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. You know there's no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. You know that I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. And there's no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Seaside, take one. And there's no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
And our affirmation is, I am in my perfect place. Together, I am in my perfect place. Touch your heart and say it like you mean it. I am in my perfect place. One more time. I am in my perfect place. And our song of grace.
I'm living in love. I'm living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. To show that it's a ground I walk. God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me, and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. Ooh, we are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. Amen, amen.
Hey, come on up. Receive a prayer. We're here for you. It feels good. It's just come on up and receive this wonderful gift.